Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a first impression review and wear test on a brand new concealer and powder. So we are going to be testing out the brand new Pro Filt'r Instant Retouch Concealer by Fenty Beauty, as well as their new Pro Filt'r Instant Retouch setting powder. I am so excited because first of all, you guys know I love their foundation. Their primer, Trophy Wife highlighter is my favorite highlighter of all time, and then their lip products are bomb. So I got this super generous PR package this weekend and I was shocked. So huge shout out to Fenty. Thank you so much. I did not expect all of this, but the minute I saw this, I knew that I had to film a video because this concealer launches on January 11th and I love their foundation so much. So I have really high hopes for their concealer and powder. So let's just get on with it. I'm going to start reading some claims. I will insert a timestamp if you guys just want to get into the application, but I'm going to start off with some claims so that we know what we're working with. So the Pro Filt'r Instant Retouch Concealer comes in 50 different shades, which is amazing. Fenty Beauty is just so inclusive, which is one of my favorite things about them. The concealer says dark circles, blemishes, bad decisions. The full coverage cure is right here. It's long wear, sweat resistant, and crease proof. And just a little side note, with their Pro Filt'r Soft Matte Foundation, they are actually adding 10 more shades, which is amazing because they already have a great shade range. So love that. And then with their Pro Filt'r Retouch Setting Powder, they come in 8 truly translucent shades. And it says it smooths, mattifies, brightens, and sets your Fenty face to last longer with no flashback. So just for a little reference, I do have combo skin. My under eye area is pretty normal. It's not like super dry or super oily. It's just right in the middle. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Don't forget to grab a snack. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So I have no face makeup on right now. I'm gonna just do a quick application of the primer and the foundation. So I love the Fenty Soft Matte Pro Filt'r Instant Retouch Primer. This stuff is really, really good. And it works really well with my skin, so. It'd be super cool if they had like a universal primer and setting spray. Oh my gosh, I bet that would be amazing. Maybe something to think about in the future. Fenty. Okay, for foundation, I'm gonna go in with the shade 220, which I think this should be my match at the moment. I haven't used this foundation in a little while because I've been sidetracked with other foundations. And I'm gonna just use the Precision Makeup Sponge. I've used this in the past and I really, really like it. This foundation is medium to full coverage. It gives you a soft matte finish and this looks really good in pictures. This was like one of my go-to foundations last year when I was going out when I was still at college, and it looks really, really good and it lasts all night. Now for the concealer, I'm gonna go in with the shade 220. I love their packaging. It's like super sleek and classy, and I'm gonna just apply my concealer like I normally would. So I typically like to just apply my concealer right just in the inner part of my under eye area and then blend it outwards. So on one side of my face, I'm gonna use the sponge. The other side, I'm gonna use the Precision Concealer Brush. This is the 180 brush. I normally don't apply my concealer just with a brush, but today is an exception. This color is perfect for me right now. I love it. The brush is okay. I wish it was a little bit more like rounded. It's kind of like a flat sort of like eyeshadow brush, I feel like. It's kind of fluffy, which makes it easy to work with, but preferably this is probably not something that I would typically use to blend out my concealer. It could be something that you could use in the inner corner of your eyes to blend more precisely, but just like for the entire under eye area, I wouldn't use this on a day-to-day basis. I'd rather just use a sponge. Actually, let's build it up a little bit more on this side. Blends out really, really nicely though, both with the brush and with the sponge, which I like. So that is what it looks like. Obviously you can see the side that I don't have concealer in. It looks very just blah, but this looks very awake. I feel like it almost looks like just lifted and just really, really nice. So naturally I have these little creases underneath my eyes. Before I go in and set, I always blend them out, but I just always get them no matter what concealer I use. But there are some concealers that make them appear a little bit more prominent and emphasized, but we'll see how this one looks with it. But I really like it. I think the coverage is really, really nice. I really don't feel like this concealer needs to be layered, but the reason I did is just because I first blended it out with a brush and I wanted to see how it would look and blend with the sponge instead. Oh wow, yeah, this is really, really nice with a sponge. I feel like this is looking a little bit more light than my foundation, so I'm gonna just highlight a little bit on the high points of my face because I always typically do this. And to blend this out, I'm going to be using the full-bodied foundation brush. So this combo looks really, really good. Like, I'm loving how like smooth my skin looks and soft, but like not cakey whatsoever. I really like the coverage of the concealer. I really like it and prefer it more so blended it out with a sponge versus with a brush, but that's just personal preference. Okay, so by creases, this is what I mean. And like I mentioned, every concealer does that for me, so it's not like anything out of the ordinary. I just blend them out and then I do that before I set so that it doesn't set my creases. So with the concealer brush that I was using earlier, I'm just gonna go in and just blend those creases out. And then once I blend them out, I will go in and set right away. So can we talk about this packaging for the powder? It is beautiful. I always say this, but I love how Fenty stuff, like their highlighters and most of their packaging, it looks like little stop signs. I just think it's so cute. So this one is in the shade Banana. Hopefully this shade will match. The other shade that I have is Chestnut, which is a little bit too dark, I feel like, for me right now. I think that would be better if I'm tanned. So hopefully this is a good shade. So my favorite way to set is using a sponge. I just feel like it looks the best. So I'm gonna use the same Fenty sponge, and I like to set from the outer corner of my eyes to the inner corner. And I never really bake. I usually will just set and then just kind of blend the powder out with the sponge. Wow, that is really, really smoothing. And you can just see how like brightening that was underneath the eyes, but it's not like too much. Okay, on the other side, I'm gonna use the Powder Puff setting brush, which is the 170. This brush looks really, really nice. Like, this could even be good for contouring or bronzing. And I'm gonna use that to set on the other side. I never use a brush anymore, but again, just for the sake of using all the products today and the tools, we're gonna test it out on the other side. This powder is slightly scented too. With any excess powder, I'm just gonna go in and set the rest of my face. I'm setting one side with a brush and the other side with a sponge. If you guys have never set your entire face with translucent powder, you are missing out. I'm telling you, it makes a huge difference. So this is what the face looks like. Personally, I really, really like it. I like how it's like a soft matte finish. It's not overly matte. My skin doesn't feel like super dry or anything, and it still feels really soft and just beautiful. Just looking at everything right now, I feel like I could probably go down a shade with the foundation, or I should have just dragged it down my neck a little bit, but I'm gonna make it work with bronzer and everything, so don't worry. What I'm gonna do right now is just take a photo with Flash. I'm gonna turn off my ring light and we're gonna see how this looks with Flash. So I'm just gonna be using my iPhone to do this. I have the iPhone XS Max. Okay, so I think this looks really, really flawless. I mean, the Flash test, especially on the iPhone, I feel like is the ultimate test when it comes to taking photos and how your makeup's gonna look, and I think this looks really good, and the color match actually looks really good too in there. So super impressed so far. What I'm gonna do is just go ahead and finish up the rest of my makeup, and then I'll just come back and we'll chat a little bit, and then I'm gonna do a check-in and we'll see how everything wears. But so far I'm happy and I really like the way my face looks. So I'll see you guys in 1 second. All right guys, I'm back. So I will leave the details of my makeup down below in the description box if you are interested, lashes, lip color, etc. So I wanted to show you guys 2 other photos that I did take, one with my ring light with Flash and one without the ring light and without Flash, just with my makeup all done, and you can still see everything looks flawless. So this powder and concealer, foundation, everything definitely is like hands down Flash proof. I think this is beautiful, perfect for like a night out or a special occasion so far. But yeah, I'm really loving the concealer and the powder. I mean, I don't have any complaints about it. I love the way my makeup looks, nice and smooth. It feels very comfortable and lightweight, which I love. So I'm just gonna go about my day and I'll be back in a couple of hours and we'll see how everything is wearing. So I'll see you guys soon. Okay, I'm back. This is what my makeup is looking like. I've been wearing all the products for a couple hours at this point. So I do want to mention that I did did blot a little bit just on my forehead, and I used my Palladio rice paper blotting sheets, which are my favorite. I got those at Sally's Beauty Supply. And then I also did go over top of my forehead just a little bit with my Fenty Invisimatte blotting powder. This is just the universal one. I love this stuff. I actually forgot to talk about this combo in my yearly favorites, but this is a really nice duo if you ever want to make your makeup look like you just applied it again. Like, it's really nice. So I didn't notice any like excessive oil on my face throughout the day. Like, I do feel like the translucent powder that I used did a good job at keeping me matte for a few hours, but I just touched up not too long ago, and at that point I've been wearing the makeup for over 6 hours, so that's really good, especially with my combo skin, and my forehead gets very oily, so it wasn't bad at all. I really don't have any major complaints with anything that I used. I mean, you can see I do have some fine lines underneath my eyes, and sorry, my lash is like lifting a little bit, but the fine lines are just there to stay. Like, no matter what product I use, the fine lines are always there. But I do feel like with the concealer that I used today and the powder, they're not super prominent. Like, obviously you can see them, but it's nothing crazy. It's nothing that I haven't seen before, and it's not as bad as some other powders and concealers that I've used in the past. So for me, this is like really, really good. Like, it's a good concealer day. I do feel like my skin oxidized a little bit. I don't know if it's maybe because the foundation was slightly too dark for me at the moment. I'm very fair, and I think I underestimated that, but with some bronzer on the chest, I feel like it's really not a big deal. I also did take a photo earlier in my car, natural daylight, no edit, no filter, just on my iPhone, and you can see really how my makeup looks, and I think it looks really good. And it's always the ultimate test how your makeup looks when you go outside in natural light in your car. That's like where you can really see all of your imperfections. So I really like the coverage of the concealer. I love how it blended out with a sponge, personally, more than just with the brush. I mean, the brushes work, but they're not my absolute favorite, just because I typically don't use brushes like that to blend out concealer and powder, but that's just personal preference, of course. I like how the powder and the concealer are soft matte finish. They're not overly drying, they're not cakey, and it just looks very natural on the skin. So I like it. Let me know what you guys think down below. I hope this was helpful. I think these products are definitely worth trying, especially with the amazing shade range. I don't see why anybody wouldn't be able to find their shade. So let me know if you guys will be picking up these products. I would definitely repurchase, and I'm probably actually gonna purchase a powder in a different shade, like a more lighter version, because I think the banana works, but I could probably even go down a shade just because I am so fair at the moment. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think down below. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye.